What's up, guys, and welcome to my review for The First Omen, which is the prequel film to the original Omen film. Look, I have only seen bits and pieces of one Omen movie, and that was with Liev Schreiber. I don't even know if that was an Omen movie, to be honest with you, but I remember a long time ago when I had cable, I was flipping through the channels, and I believe it was called The Omen, and Liev Schreiber was running around the city. That's all I remember about that movie. So I can't give you any thoughts on the series. I could just talk about this movie, who stars Neil Tiger Free as the lead character who goes into this church. She becomes this nun-like figure. I don't know if she becomes a nun. I don't really understand the ins and outs of nunning, but she's that kind of figure. And guess what? She's going to discover that things are not the way they should be. So, look, for this movie to come out so close to Immaculate, starring Sydney Sweeney, I mean, it's really shocking how two movies that are so similar come out basically right next to each other, just a month apart, I believe. So yeah, I think that this movie has a bigger budget, and it definitely looks like it has a bigger budget. The cinematography to this is beautiful. This movie looks extraordinary. The production design, it is such a well-made film. The editing, the acting is all terrific. You also have Bill Nye in this film. Davy Jones himself is in this movie a little bit, and he's always great to see him. He just recently got his first Oscar nomination a couple years ago for the movie Living, which he was great in. But yeah, he's great in this. But Neil Tiger Free, she's asked to do a lot of wacky stuff, especially in the second half of the film, and even the first half of the film. Her performance is extremely well rounded, and she's fantastic in this movie and gives one of the best performances I've seen all year. But the thing about this movie, like, how do I not compare it to Immaculate? Seeing that I can't compare it to any other Omen films, I have to compare it to Immaculate because the story is very similar. You know, the Antichrist and birthing the Antichrist or whatever is very similar, and I feel like the way it was handled in Immaculate was better. Sydney Sweeney's character was able to do what Neil Tiger Free's character was not able to do by the end of the film. And I appreciated that more, and I think that was more of a satisfying experience. This movie, the last like 10 to 15 minutes of this film are extremely uncomfortable to watch for me anyway. It's not scary. I mean, this is supposed to be a horror film. It's not scary. So if you're comparing it to Immaculate, on a scare level, that movie's definitely creepier and scarier overall. I wouldn't even say that film was scary, but it was definitely creepier. This movie's not even really creepy. This movie's just like a religious drama. I mean, I wouldn't say this. I wouldn't consider this a horror movie at all, even though there is some horrific images in it. But yeah, the last 15 minutes of this movie, it was difficult to watch. I mean, it was disturbing to watch. Just the things that you're seeing are just really crazy. I mean, the movie goes from 0 to 100 real quick. So where you have the movie Immaculate, which I feel like it had a nice build to the climax of that film. This movie, it's like the first half is very, very subdued, not a lot going on. But the second half of the film, I mean, they hit the gas, and it's like, holy cow, this is like crazy. It's crazy. What goes on in this movie in the second half is pretty nutty. But there's an image that happens within that last 15 minutes that I did not like. They could have gotten the point across in so many different ways, but there's just a visual, something you see that as a parent, it just kind of angered me. Like, I don't need to see that. I don't want to see that. So there's something that happens in this movie that I was kind of angered by. But overall, I think the movie is very well made with great acting. It's just some stuff that go on with the story. that I feel like I don't think it ends very satisfyingly. I don't think you end the movie being satisfied, for me anyway. It was just like, that was just really nutty. But by the end of Immaculate, you do feel satisfied. Because I will say this, like I said before, Sydney Sweeney's character accomplishes something that the character in this movie can't accomplish, didn't accomplish. Now, if that character in this movie accomplished what I'm talking about, I guess you wouldn't have any other Omen films. I don't really know. I haven't seen the other movies. And I don't want to spoil it on you, so that's really all I could say very vaguely. I also want to mention another actor that's in this movie in the very first scene, Charles Dance, who I always like to see pop up in movies like The Imitation Game or this. If they ever make a live action Hunchback of Notre Dame film from Disney, which is my favorite animated movie of all time, I've been saying this forever. Charles Dance needs to play Frollo. He's got the look, and I think that would be great casting. But just wanted to get that out there. This movie, look, I'll probably never watch it again because there's just that visual that happens that really angers me. The plot, like, it's like the first half of this movie, there's no plot. So do you remember the guy? I mean, there's a plot, but do you remember the guy from The Witch with that really deep voice? Well, he's in this film to provide the plot. So every time he's on the screen, you're like, oh yeah, there's actually a story going on here. And then, he's got a bigger role in the second half of the film where you discover certain things, and it's kind of convoluted, and the story is really nutty. It's really nutty. But I'm interested to see other Omen films, especially the original, which is this is the prequel to. But I didn't like it as much as Immaculate. I liked it, but I have problems with it. And at the end of the day, I'm going to give the first Omen 3.5 out of 5 stars. I was thinking about giving it a 4. I probably could give it a 4, but I'm going to give it a 3.5. This is a very strong 3.5. It's a good movie. It does feel a little long. It's like 2 hours long. It does feel a little long. Immaculate was only an hour and a half. They got to the point a lot quicker. This movie beats around the bush a lot, and I didn't really appreciate that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the first Omen. So guys, comment your thoughts. Do you plan on seeing this? Is available on Hulu now, so you can check that out. It's where I just watched it, or you could buy it digitally. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for a bunch of other reviews coming in the future. We've got Tarot Cards, a horror tarot movie. That's going to be something I'll be reviewing soon. Also, Richard Linklater's Hitman, Inside Out 2. A bunch of exciting stuff coming in the future. And guys, you can also follow me on Twitter and or X at RyanKing72 and Instagram and TikTok at KingArises131. And that's about it for me. Thank you so much for watching my review for The First Omen. And until next time, over and out.